Thank you, Madam Speaker. Speaking last in the order has the disadvantage of having most of the things that you were going to speak about and many of the statistics that I was going to talk about for public safety already covered very well. But it also gives me the advantage of pointing out some things that are just kind of laughable in respect to some of the statements that have been made on both sides of the aisle when it comes to what this bill is supposed to fix. If I look at all the points that have been emailed to me on why I should vote for House File 600, almost every one of them is proved to be wrong over time. The black market that we're going to eliminate, they're not bringing it in from Mexico anymore because they're growing it internally. Has the black market gone down in Colorado? No, black market grows have gone up, and not just gone up a little bit. Seizures have gone up 10 times. You can't go into a national forest in Colorado now without fear of coming across a clandestine grow operation. And I'll tell you what happens in those clandestine grow operations out in the national forest. They have to protect them from three things. They have to protect them from pests, so they spray god-awful, unapproved pesticide on these plants to make sure that when they're not there, they are protected from the pest. They put chemicals on the plants to keep the animals away, because you wouldn't want to have a deer or an elk coming in and eating your grow. And the third thing that they have to keep away are people. And they're going to be protected with firearms and explosives and tripwires for when they're not there. Now, the other thing that you can do in a state of Colorado, what's even easier than doing a clandestine grow, is you do an indoor grow. Now, I know it's been amended. The original House File 600, I believe, allowed for 8 plants indoors. 8 plants. So, going back to my drug task force days, when I was on the drug task force, the number one tip-off of a grow operation would be the smell, okay? They're humid, they have to be vented. And usually when we got out of the door of the van to do the warrant on the marijuana, on the suspected marijuana grow, you stepped outside the van and you could know if it was good or not, because the smell would knock you over. Now, how is the neighbor going to know if this was a House File 600 legal marijuana grow with 8 plants, or, as we see in the cities, if they'll strip out the house, they'll run in electricity, usually steal wire off, steal the power, because, and I'll get to that as my second step, they'll steal the power and they can run hundreds or thousands of plants in one house. So the second way that we found out about clandestine grows indoor was electricity. Either the power company called and said, somebody's stealing power, or they had a huge power bill that they couldn't pay. Now they estimate that it takes about 10 megawatts to produce 1 pound of marijuana. Think about that. That's a lot of power. I cannot imagine how many turbines out there or solar panels we're going to have to construct just to keep up with the electrical draw of these indoor grows. And what do we do at night? What do we do at night when there's little wind and the little bit of solar that we had is now gone, and we have to run on that base load, you know, the base load, the reliable coal and nuclear power that gives us the base load at night, the base load that you're plugging your Tesla in to charge? What are you going to do when you get up in the morning and your Tesla didn't charge because we're running unknown megawatts to keep the marijuana grows, powered. Now I'm going to go off script just a little bit based on what I've heard tonight, and I would like to thank my parents for their upbringing. And the one thing that my dad told me many times was that if everybody jumped off a bridge, would you? What kind of parenting message are we spending, members? Everybody's doing it, we might as well do it. I've got the emails, I'm sure everyone else did, legalize marijuana, vote yes for House File 600. And all I have to do to really find out how they feel about marijuana is respond, what other things that everybody else does should we legalize? So, Dad, down in Fort Snelling, thank you. Mom, thank you for raising me better than that. Like so many things in this bill, that they just haven't been thought out. It's a feel-good bill that everyone here knows deep down will not achieve what the stated purposes of the bill are going to be. It's been well established. Public safety will go down. We don't have a way to do a screening on the roadside. We have no way for a trucking company to do a screening to make sure that it's okay for the drivers to go out during the day. Yes, I realize you can send them to a clinic, they can get a UA, 5 to 6 hours later they'll get results back. That's not going to help a trooper on the side of the road, and it's not going to help someone decide if their driver should go out with 80,000 pounds. This bill doesn't make any of the goals. It makes no one safer. And at the same time, the majority has not passed a budget bill. They refuse to drop the tax hikes. And with just days left in this session, we're discussing a bill that will not pass and will make no one safer. Thank you, Madam Chair.